I never thought I'd be the reason the person I loved was lying in a hospital bed, motionless, with machines breathing for her. But that's exactly where she ended up. And it all started with an argument that should have ended with slammed doors, not sirens. That night replayed in my head for months. Every word, every second, every choice I didn't think would matter. Her name was Lily. We had been together for 3 years, the kind of relationship everyone online calls goals. Cute photos, inside jokes, future plans. People thought we were solid. What they didn't see were the cracks. I was jealous, controlling even when I told myself I was just protective. I hated when she went out without me. I hated the way other people looked at her. And instead of dealing with my insecurities, I turned them into accusations. That night, she came home late. Nothing unusual. She'd told me she was meeting friends, but I had spent the entire evening pacing, checking my phone, imagining things that weren't real. When she walked through the door, tired and smiling, I snapped. "Who were you really with?" I asked. She froze. "I told you already." I didn't listen. I raised my voice. I said things I can't take back, things meant to hurt. She tried to walk past me. I grabbed her arm. Not hard, not violently, at least that's what I told myself. She pulled away, and then it happened. She slipped. There was a sharp sound, her head hitting the edge of the counter, and then silence. For a moment, neither of us moved. "Lily?" I whispered. She didn't answer. She was on the floor, eyes half open, not blinking. That's when panic hit me like a wave. I called 911 with shaking hands, my voice cracking as I tried to explain. I remember kneeling next to her, begging her to wake up, promising I'd change, promising everything. The ambulance came fast. The hospital was bright, cold, unreal. Doctors rushed her away while I sat alone, staring at my hands, replaying the moment over and over. I kept thinking, if I had stayed quiet, if I had trusted her, if I had just let her walk away. Hours later, a nurse pulled me aside. "Sometimes patients can hear more than we think," she said. "Keep talking to her." So I did. I told her the truth, not the excuses, not the watered-down version. I told her I was wrong, that my love had turned into control, that I was scared of losing her and ended up hurting her instead. "I don't deserve you," I whispered, "but if you wake up, I'll spend the rest of my life making this right, even if you never forgive me." Weeks later, something changed. It was small, a twitch of her fingers. The doctors said not to get my hopes up, but hope was all I had left. Then one morning, her eyes opened. She was confused, weak, frightened. When she saw me, her heart rate spiked. I stepped back immediately. "I'm here," I said softly, "but I can leave if you want." She didn't speak for days. When she finally did, her voice was barely above a whisper. "I remember falling, and I remember being scared." Those words shattered me. Recovery was slow, painful, physical therapy, emotional wounds deeper than the scars no one could see. We talked, carefully, honestly, sometimes through tears. She told me she loved me, but she was afraid of me too, and I understood. Love doesn't erase trauma. One afternoon, months later, she looked at me and said, "I don't know if we can be what we were." I nodded. "I don't want that. I want to be better, even if it means not being together." That was the hardest thing I've ever said. In the end, we didn't stay a couple, but we stayed honest. She healed, she rebuilt her life, stronger, wiser, and I learned that love without trust is just fear wearing a mask. I live with what happened every day. But if there's one thing I know now, it's this. Sometimes the most dangerous thing in a relationship isn't hatred, it's control disguised as love. And sometimes the price of learning that lesson is almost losing everything.